Hi and welcome to Easy Fishing. Well, I managed to get all the household chores done that I had to do, and I've managed to grab a couple of hours fishing down the Grand Union Canal. Now the reason I've come here today is to demonstrate what you can catch with the outfit I showed on my last video, and that is a 3-meter whip. So I'll show you, running you through what I've got. I have a 3-meter whip. I've attached the rig to it in the same way that I showed on the video. All I've got to do now is plumb up the depth. So I'm going to put the remote control for the camera down. Unhook the hook from under the rubber band. Grab hold of the plummet. Attach it as I showed, and then I'm not going to cast, I'm just going to lift the whip out and drop this right under the whip tip. It's not going to be very deep. Let's just go a little bit further and find out how deep the water is. Right. So about 2 foot from my rod top, the depth drops off considerably, and it's about 3 feet deep. But it's just the most important job this is to plumb the depth. So I'm going to start on the near side shelf, which is a bit shallower, in fact quite a lot shallower. So just move your float down, grasp the line and the float, and gently pull with a wet line. Don't try and pull it when the line's dry, it'll burn. So just drop it in again where I'm going to fish. And I've now got it shotted up so the float tip is just under the water. There it is. It's moved slightly in the breeze. You can just see about 1 millimetre sticking out above the water, and that is, when I go out another inch or so, that'll be just subsurface. So that's how you want to have it shotted up for the depth. So remove your plummet, put it somewhere safe. For bait, I have 1/2 pint of maggots, red and white, a small tub of worms, 4 slices of bread cut into quarters, and about, I don't know, less than 1/2 pint of liquidized bread. This is just white bread, sliced white bread that's been run through a food processor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and squeeze this together and see if it'll hold. Now if it's damp enough to hold, that's fine, but you usually need to add just a tad or a very small amount of water. And because I can't be bothered to sort of start getting into the canal, it's going to get a squirt of my water bottle. Not very much. Stir it around with your fingers just to make it damp enough so it will sticks together and goes down in the water. So simple this, anybody can do this. So I've just added enough water to make it a little bit damp. And what I'm going to do, using the lid of the box, got my disgorger here. I'm going to tuck that behind my ear. I've got a length of string to tie it around my neck. Normally they have a little hole in the handle there, and I put a bit of strong fishing line and hang it around my neck so it doesn't get lost. The reason I've cut the bread into quarters so it doesn't go dry so quick. Just you'll have to excuse any background noise. It's people coming home from work and the usual stuff in an urban situation. So I'll just take, that's it, quarter of a slice out. I like to seal the bag, or at least fold it over, keep the air out of it. What you do is you take your bread punch and you insert it into that, give it a twist, and there you have a little circle of bread. What you do then is pick your hook up and in the side of the punch there's a slit, just there. All you do is take your hook, put the point in the slit and into the bread from underneath, pull it out, and there you have it. Beautifully attached to the hook and ready to go. You then take a pinch. I'm going to use about a walnut size piece of slightly damp liquidized bread, about that big. And I'm going to drop that out in my swim to where I plummeted the depth. Plumbed the depth, and try and throw that crumb as accurately as possible on top of them. Now if I've done this right and the fish are here, I shouldn't have to wait too long for a bite. We'll see. And here we go, first fish. Small, but there you go, proof it works. Barbless hook so it'll come out easily. Oh, I don't need the disgorger, it's just hooked in the very bit. And there we have a small roach. So repeat the process, get your slice of bread, punch it out, put the hook in the slot, pull it through the bread. Don't feed any more bread at the moment. And swing it out. See how long before we get a fish. I guess I had to wait less than a minute for that first bite. And another one. There we go. And this one I do need the disgorger for. But being barbless hooks, slips out easily. There we go. Back in the water and just repeat the process. So you see mums and girls and those who are a bit squeamish. So you see mums, girls and those who are a bit squeamish, you don't even have to use maggots or worms. Bread is a brilliant bait. And it works just about anywhere. Now, the reason I came to the canal, one is it's close to home, not feeling that great today, so it's a very short walk and a fairly short drive. But they're great places to fish. Their canal network spreads over most of the country, and I've got a bite and another fish while I talk, and they are pretty safe if you fall in. At the edge they're probably, I don't know, a foot deep. There we go, this is what I'm catching. Not big. There's my towel. Just an old scrap bit of a towel that had gone holy. Got a bad case of religious, that towel. So that was only ever going to be used. So repeat the process, punch, hook it. And just swing it out and see if we can catch another one. And I shouldn't think it will take long before we get another one. Yes, had a bite straight away. Oh, missed that one. Bread's still on there. Don't worry about the bread coming off the hook, by the way, it's meant to. It goes very soft in water, that's why you mustn't squeeze it too hard. And I've got bites straight away, but these are obviously very small fish at the moment. And another one. See? Now any kid who you can introduce to fishing, who can catch fish like this, is going to be hooked for life. £13 I've spent, plus 50 pence on a loaf of bread. I spent £1.75 on some maggots and £1.90 on the worms. And I haven't even used the worms or maggots yet. I'm just on the bread. So again, keep repeating the process. Take your bread. I'm using on the lid of the box. So it's a nice hard surface. Punch it out. Hook it on. Swing it out. No need to introduce any more bread yet. I'll only do that when the bites stop. Make sure it goes in the same position each time and await developments. Now you will notice when you fish a canal, sometimes it will be stationary, sometimes it go to the left, sometimes to the right. At the moment it's going from right to left, quite slowly. There we go. Dead simple. Oh, that one's fallen off. Safely back in the water, it fell on some grass, so no damage done. Now I know I'm only catching small fish, but any child would love this, and to be honest, so would most older children, teenagers, because kids are fascinated by fish regardless of their size. And you never know, I might even hook a better fish. Yep, and another one straight away. See? Barbless hook literally drops out. Wipe my hands on my bit of towel on my knee. Oh, now normally when I'm fishing, I have a little attachment to my chair or seat box so that everything's at waist height, so I don't have to bend down. Not being very well, bending down is not always a great thing. Kids, that won't matter. Bit of stretching won't do them any harm. So anyway, rebait, out we go again. Oh, little bite then. Another little bite. And another little fish. So easy this, anybody can do this. And I guess this is the equivalent of a duck number 9 bus. As I'm sitting here, there's a mallard with a solitary chick floating down on a massive floating weeds. Lovely to see. A slightly better one. There we go. This one is a small bream called a skimmer. Oh, how about that? I didn't even have to unhook him. Why is it when I've got a camera on, people feel compelled to rush over and start talking? Don't mind them standing quietly behind me, but when they just butt in and start talking and putting their face in the camera, oh, you're filming, yes, thinking they'll take the hint. Do they? No. So I'm just carrying on exactly as I was before, using bread punch. The last fish you saw me swing out that dropped off was a small bream, which we call skimmers. I don't know, 3 or 4 ounces, not big, but fun. And if you get a bigger fish on a whip, you do know all about it. There we go. This is the beauty of canals. And they're not all small fish either. There's carp in here. There we go. There's carp in here to well in excess of 30 pounds. People don't believe it, but there are. There are big chub, big roach, good sized bream, most species. But for what we're doing today, this is all you need to do. Now, people wonder why I'm not using a worm. So I will fish bread until I don't get any more bites. Flying ants are out. And now the canal's starting to run like a river in flood. Don't let that put you off though. Fish are used to it, doesn't bother them. Yeah. Right. So there you have it for a little while. I'm going to stop and have a drink because I need to take some pills. So I'll be back with you in just a minute. Well, the canal's slowed down again now, so I'm going to go back to fishing. Now, I need a piece of fresh bread out because the last one has dried out. So just reach into my bag, get another quarter of a slice out. Fold the bag over to keep it fresh, obviously, because it will dry out quickly. Place it on the lid, punch it out. Pick my whip up. Whoa, I've got flying ants. Ooh. They don't bite, so it's nothing to really worry about. Right, see if we can get another one. And the surface of the water is covered with ants, and the ducks are gobbling them up like mad. They're out of the camera range at the moment, but they will probably swim into range. Yeah, they're absolutely feasting on all these ants. Going mad for them. There's absolutely thousands and thousands of them. I'll lift my rod out while the ducks are here. There you go, duckies. Obviously being a big hatch from, or an exodus from a nest somewhere. Now they're right in front of me where I was fishing, so you should be able to see them. Just wish they weren't landing on me. Right, now they're out of the way. See if we can catch some more. And some fish are coming up and taking them as well. In fact, quite a lot of fish. In fact, there's fish riding all over the canal for these ants. Just wish they weren't landing on my neck. Yeah, fish right underneath my feet, feasting on them. In nature, nothing goes to waste. Bread came off the hook. So just rebait. Now if bites slow down, I'll probably put a little bit more bread in. I'm actually watching the fish coming up near my float and taking the floating ants off the top. But I'm getting bites as well. Crawling all over me they are at the moment. Like I say, they're not biting me, so I'm not really worried. Right, well, I've had a couple of little half-hearted dips, but no positive bites. But I'm fascinated watching these fish take these floating ants. And they're actually competing with the ducks for them. Nature's bounty. And yes, and we have a different species of fish this time. This time, I have a small gudgeon. Lovely fish. Missing a few now as well. Now, I've caught quite a few fish on bread, so now I'm going to try maggots for a little while. Now, when you hook a maggot, it has a fat end and a pointed end. So when you hook it, you should aim just to nick the hook in the frill of skin at the end so the maggot doesn't burst. This is why we want small, sharp hooks. So it's like hooked on like that and wriggling enticingly. I'm going to just give a maggot a try for a few minutes. I'll probably get gudging, but you never know. Need the canal to slow down before I can put any bait in. And I might even try a blowing all ant off me. Might even try a piece of worm. Now what I'm half hoping for is to catch a perch. There are some big ones in here as well, up to at least 4 pounds, which is enormous. And I can't say I've had a 4-pounder yet. I've had them to over 3 pounds though, which is a very good fish. Could be fun on a whip, but I'll give it a go. Instead, I've got another gudgeon. But I thought that would probably happen with maggots. But now it's slowed down a bit, what I'm going to do is just stop using bread and see if I can catch fish using throwing maggots in the water and using a worm on the hook, or half a worm. So I'm going to introduce, I don't know, a small palmful, probably 30 or 40 maggots. Some in there. And then I'm going to open my worm tub and oh, these are a bit sorry looking worms, some of them. I'll take one that's I don't know, 4 centimetres long. I can't think in centimetres, 2 inches. Put the lid back on the worms. And what I'm going to do is just nip it in half with my fingernails. If you've got a pair of scissors with you, you can do that instead. Don't throw the other half away. And now I'm just going to nick a small segment of worm and drop him in. If there's any perch about, they might well find that very quickly. Well, something's found it because I've had a bite on it straight away. Throw a few more maggots around the float. All I'm trying to do is see if I can catch a perch. If this doesn't work, it'll be straight back on the bread. And it doesn't look like it's working. Incidentally, do not put half worms or damaged worms back in the tub because they will kill the healthy ones. So just bear that in mind. So there we are, a small perch, only a baby, but what we want is his great-grandmother or great-grandfather. So I'll carry on and see if I can get another one. There's another one. Now I don't know how many I've caught, but quite a few, and it's been virtually continuous action. I don't think I've had to wait more than 30 seconds for a bite. So if there are children doing this, there's plenty to keep their interest up. And if you've got more than one child, you can bet your life there'll be a competition as to who can catch the most or the biggest, which is how match fishing comes about. But for now, I think you'll be convinced this is such a simple way of catching fish. Just basically a stick with a line tied to the end. The only difference is the stick is made out of fiberglass, or if you've got an expensive one, carbon fibre. But there are loads of fish. I missed that one. Loads and loads. Bread's drying out very quickly. It is quite warm and humid, and I've got ants down my shirt and everything. They're not biting me, they're just irritating me. You can feel them crawling all over you, but they will stop. Oh! And here we go, much bigger fish, much bigger fish, tore off. Now if you do hook a better fish, don't try and just yank it out. And we have a much bigger fish. Now the only thing that I did differently today was I bought a small landing net, because I know there's a very good chance that this would happen. Cheap landing net, but there's no way you can lift a fish of this size out. And there we have it. Now, I think you would agree that any child who caught that would be very happy. And that is a small bream, sometimes known as a skimmer. I'm holding them over the net because they have a habit of jumping. There we go. How about that? Not all tiny little fish, you see. Now the landing net I'm using, the handle is a 3-piece telescopic, closes down to about 24 inches in length, cost £7, and the net I picked up in a sale was about £8. So I know you can get cheaper than that on eBay. I've seen a net and a handle for about £6. It's not necessary, but if you tried to lift a fish out like that, it would have either snapped the line or come off the hook. So if you can afford it, a small landing net and handle like this is a worthwhile investment. Well, I'm still catching a constant stream of roach and gudgeon and no more perch, but I think I shall be knocking it on the head, because rush hour traffic should be clearing by now. So anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this, and this just goes to show you what you can catch just using a 3-metre whip and all the bits and pieces that cost £13. I mean, I haven't even used 50 pence worth of bait today, to be honest. I've fed about, I don't know, 100 or so maggots, a couple of worms, and I've used 3/4 of a slice of bread, and I've fed him probably, I don't know, the equivalent of about 2 slices, and I've caught virtually non-stop. So there you go, kids, get out there and give it a go. If you haven't got a whip and a fishing outfit already, show these couple of videos to your parents and get them to buy you a whip and all the bits you need. Like I said, 13 quid to get you going. Can't be bad. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to pack up and go home. So tight lines to you all.